Okay, morning after the wild Saturday night game, figured I'd make a quick video, quick recap of everything that we know, everything that came out that night. If you haven't, heard what happened, so this is the play in question. It's Taylor Decker who's going to run a route as a left tackle. If you're going to do that, you have to report as eligible, right? Because you're currently in a position that is not traditionally an eligible receiver. So, and you're wearing a number that is that of a ineligible receiver. Doesn't mean you can't be an eligible receiver, just means you have to report as eligible. A lot of people got confused by this, and part of that was the ESPN broadcast themselves. They screwed it up. I re-listened to the broadcast. They thought he was a left guard for some reason. So they thought he was the guard in this situation, which would be illegal in that spot. But no, he is the tackle. You are allowed to, in this position, run a route as long as there's still 7 players on the line, which there is here. Everything that the Lions are doing is legal, assuming that Decker reported as eligible. Jared Goff is going to run to play action. He hits Decker. They get what they thought was the game-winning score. And then a very long time later, the refs got together and said, actually, no, that was not a not a score. Some people might get a little conspiracy theory there, but that actually kind of makes sense. You have to communicate with everybody, make sure that it works. If they legitimately did screw up the ineligible receiver thing, it probably would take that long. However, as kind of video evidence has shown, doesn't seem like they screwed it up. Heading over here, this clip, this is the angle, right, where you clearly see Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell go over and talk to the ref about something. Taylor Decker said after the game that he did talk to the ref and he did report as eligible. You also see skipper number 70. He's running towards the ref, and he's the one that they thought did report as eligible. You see him kind of run up. The ref is already sort of walking away. He does acknowledge all of them real quick, but again, he has to get to his position as well, right? And as an offensive lineman, I mean, really, it is the ref's responsibility to get this right here. It's not you have to make sure you go up and say it, but at that point, it's the ref's responsibility to make sure they understand the knowledge, because you don't want to sit there spending, 5 minutes talking to the referee saying, we're eligible, we're eligible, we're eligible, because then the defense might start to realize something is up. So you got to say it, but, the ref has to help you out at that point. Also, I saw Sam Monson tweeted this out. This is from the ESPN broadcast after the game. You see Jared Goff. He goes over and he points to Decker, and Sewell also goes with them to go talk to the ref. So it seems very likely that this was a coordinated plan to talk to the ref. And Dan Campbell even said after the game, they talked to the refs pregame about this being a potential thing they might do. You see the reaction after the call. First, you see skipper number 70. He is livid on the sideline. He even goes to yell to Campbell, saying like, "Hey, I never reported eligible there. I reported as ineligible. I don't know why they called it that way. I'm speculating, but that seems to be what he was saying there." Dan Campbell then goes to the ref, and he clearly mouths, "No, he didn't," to the ref. He also is literally going to announce later, "No effing way," to the ref. So it seems like he does not buy the referee's story. Here is the referee's story. So here's what the referee had to say. A little bit of smaller font, but I'll read quickly here. So first, why was there a penalty called on a 2-point conversion for an illegal touch? Allen, the referee, said, "So we had a situation where if you were going to have an ineligible receiver occupy an eligible position, you have to report that to the referee. On this particular play, number 70, who had reported during the game a couple of times, reported to me as eligible. Then he lined up at the tackle position, so actually he didn't have to report at all. Number 68, who ended up going downfield and touching the pass, did not report. Therefore, he is an ineligible touching a pass that goes beyond the line, which makes it a foul. So the issue is number 70 did report, number 68 did not." A follow-up, there was a player that went to you just before that play. It was Decker, and he was talking to you. 2 linemen talking to you, and then you went to the Cowboys defensive line to speak to them. What was that conversation about? That conversation is where 70 reports to me, and then I go to the defensive team and tell them number 70 has reported as an eligible receiver, so they would be aware of who reported, and then I return to my position. That was the conversation with the defensive line. They also asked about why was there 2 flags thrown. The other one is because if 70 is eligible and 68 is ineligible, well, then it would have been a illegal formation. But like I said, if everything was reported properly, it was a legal formation. So it seems like that's the situation. It seems like they legitimately just got the numbers wrong there. And my speculation, here's my theory is they said 70 had came in and reported eligible a few times. I'm assuming the ref just kind of assumed that that's what was happening again and maybe just didn't pay close attention to this moment right here, which is insane and an obvious massive blunder, but that's probably what happened. The last thing I would like to mention is a lot of people are saying that the Lions would have won this game if this was flipped the other way. And listen, this is a massive win expectancy swing based on a 5-yard penalty. I don't think there's ever been a 5-yard penalty that has a win expected swing this massive, right? That being said, it's not a guarantee the Lions would have won had this call gone the other way, because the Lions would have been aware that Decker was an eligible receiver in this scenario because they were told the wrong thing, right? That does affect how you play defense. Also, there was 23 seconds left and a timeout. Listen, the Lions were looking good. All I'm saying is it's not a guarantee. And also, going over to the two-point attempt real quick, I brought up on my initial video right after this happened, I was kind of like, Dan Campbell, I love the aggressiveness, but I don't know if you have to go for 2 once you get knocked back 5 yards. I think it's probably a better idea to play for overtime at this point, and I still do feel that way. But one thing I would mention is, due to all the chaos, they already had sent the two-point attempt unit on the field. The reason why Dan Campbell stopped yelling at the ref and why the ref ran away is because the ref had to get in position to call this play, right? There's a running clock, and I think if the Lions had a timeout, they call a timeout and think about it. But in this situation, they can't do that, so they kind of were stuck in this spot. So just chaos all around. A lot of people have since gone back. I see on Twitter people posting bad calls from previous games this officiating crew has handled. And listen, I think this is a bad enough screw up that I legitimately think there should be the NFL should investigate this type of thing. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I still am going to assume that what happened here was incompetence. But I think when a screw up this bad happens, I do think it's fair to really, investigate the crew of Brad Allen, because this was a massive screw up. It just was, and make sure, figure out why exactly this happened. That being said, going back and looking at previous bad calls, it doesn't necessarily inherently mean that they are, a bad officiating crew. Don't get me wrong. They also, officiated some games that I had real issues with how they were officiated. So it might mean that. But again, I just think you should look into it. Every crew is going to have bad calls, right? That's just the reality of the situation. That being said, listen, I've always been a believer in, something I've always said is you can't blame the refs at the end of the day. Luck is a part of the game. You have to find ways to win. Sometimes you get bad breaks. And like I said, I think the Lions did screw up after this bad call by deciding to still go for 2 right there, right? Both things can be true. That's just the way it is. At the same time, though, it's such a blow if you're a Lions fan or a Lions player because of how much was on the line in this game. I mean, losing this game basically means that the 1 or 2 seed is out of the question. You're almost guaranteed to be the 3 seed at this point. If they won, they would have had a real chance to get the 1 seed. All they would have needed was to win Week 18 against the Vikings, which is no easy win. We saw that come down to the wire last week. But still, win against the Vikings and get a San Francisco loss, they would have been the 1 seed. I mean, that massive swing, that's just huge to think about. And the fact that, it could legitimately have them go from the 1 seed to the 3 seed, have them, potentially playing like the Rams or the Seahawks in round 1 instead of just getting to sit on their couches and rest up. It's just a massive screw up, and it should have never happened. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.